Hello there, Sunstein. And we're going to talk about these two, recent graphics card or GPU launches one by NVidia, one by AMD, that have been very controversial, at least NVIDIA's, because here we're going to talk about in this periodic tech news about the RTX 4060 Ti, how compared to the RTX 3060 Ti. This lake here was here in Garden City. The RTX 3060 Ti sometimes performs worse, sometimes performs better. It's not a good generational uplift. It's like what the GTX 960 did over the 760. Remember, there's no 860 desktop, so it goes from 7 to 9. Anyway, that's not what it has to do with. It has to do with the decrease in memory bandwidth, and also the amount of memory. Because at that time, 2 gigabytes wasn't enough to play modern games at the time, so they had to launch a 4 gigabyte version afterwards. The same's going to happen here with the 16 gigabyte version. It's going to come out soon. And not to mention, going back from 256 to 128 again. Because, AMD and NVIDIA have been cheaping out on memory bandwidth and downgrading them instead of upgrading. I don't know why they got rid of 512-bit cards. I know I don't know why people say that the AMD 2000 series and then the 200 and 300 series, I don't know why they say that was a terrible decision to cut. That was a terrible decision to actually have 512-bit cards. That's my argument. Anyway, haven't taken very many walks here in this part of Garden City before. Mineola is that way. Yeah. And now they're going to launch a 16 gig version of the 4060 Ti. And then there's the 4060, which is going to be inexpensive. Still only 8 gigs, though. However, the RX 7600, which they launched, ironically, before the 77 and 78. So, also, this is the third time AMD used the series called the 7000 series. The third time. Although the first time was ATI, then they bought ATI around a decade ago. A little over a decade ago, I think. I don't know, I haven't been into technology that long to experience the buyout. But AMD launched an 8 gigabyte base 7600. And it's a great deal. Just like how today the 6600 is. If you want to get last gen parts, if you're okay with last gen parts and want to pay the low price, it's great. Now, the previous generation of AMD downgraded on the bus width the same way AMD and NVIDIA are doing it this generation. But Ampere didn't. So, Navi 33 is a banger. Oh. And it's just amazing how cheap it is. We can finally start going back into the pre-Navi and the pre-Maxwell days of GPU pricing, hopefully soon. It's going to be amazing what GPUs can do. I mean, it's hard to believe that 8 gigabytes today is not enough to game. I mean, I remember that my 2007 iMac, had 128 megabytes. That's an eighth of a gigabyte. 1 over 64 times the amount that you can't even use for gaming today. But given it was This is the lowest tier of the generation, despite it having triple the memory as it normally sells with. It was still decent for gaming back then in 2007. You know, the year when search engines worked the way they were supposed to. Yeah, I'm going to get into that in another rant. Actually, I've already done that, so I don't need to. And hopefully AMD is going to launch a 16GB version too. They haven't announced it, and they haven't announced any NVidia 32 cards yet because of the dang driver problem. You know, we need to get rid of drivers like I'm going to be doing with Cherry Computer and Morello OS. In fact, the Morello OSs are going to start with Jamaica and go all the way out to the present day, which will be called Manorville. So it's going to go along the Long Island Railroad main line to make a naming scheme. And that's gonna be able to, like, cut it out with the drivers problem. Having drivers and everything that we really shouldn't have. I mean, let's see where this path leads. Yeah, I'm taking a walk in a park in Garden City. Not to be confused with Garden City Park, which is Maryland Avenue's train station. Right by there. The south side of Garden City. In Long Inland, New York. Yeah, I said that right, because, you know, I'm making the geographical equivalence. Okay, I'm getting off topic. I don't think this leads anywhere. I'll continue to investigate. I'm on. It's not a school day. Anyway, I'd pick the RDNA 3 over Lovelace. And for all those who are pronouncing it Lovelace, you're wrong. It's pronounced Lovelace, not Lovelace. Can't believe that Moore's Law is dead. Someone who's really great on the technology and amazing tech reviewer would pronounce it wrong all this time. All these times he's reviewing the game. Not the game, the cards. But right now, tomorrow I'm going to be shooting a video of me installing Windows 7 on a Cherry Computer prototype. Since we don't have the Cherry OS yet. Windows 7. Oh boy. It has a GTX 1070. With 8GB of RAM, only double that of RDNA 3's. Double the bandwidth of the RDNA's 7600 XT. Or, no, 7600. They didn't launch the XT yet. So that's about going to do it today with the review.